Sorry.
Hi, my name is Rich. I use the he, him pronouns, and you're watching my YouTube channel where I play amazing tabletop role-playing games with friends. This is Sunday, which means that the Intercontinental Group of Awesome is gathering together to play some indie and small press tabletop RPGs. We are continuing our second RPG system in a world that we've all collaboratively created. It's for superhero or superheroic role-playing. We started off with Power Beyond Doubt. We will return to Power Beyond Doubt, but I wanted to take this little excursion to try out Pandora Total Destruction, a game from Broken Ruler Games, Todd Crapper, The Warren, which is interesting. It's trying lots of different things from what I've seen in most games. It's got some scene economies that we're getting used to, and the idea of purchasing particular scenes, but then mechanical benefits for purchasing some scenes. So there's some cool meta narrative strategery going on there. We've played one full session after character creation, and this will be our second. I'm quite interested in how things will progress with our supers. So let's go around the horn. After I remind everyone, we do use safety tools. We have lines and veils, as well as ask first, and then an X card on top of that in case someone didn't think to put a line or veil on something, or if it just strikes them as odd and ruins their fun. And of course, we have the open door where you guys are grown-ups, and I expect as much. So if you've got to leave the game for any length of time, you can, and you can always return as you're able. If you can give me a heads up for the time, cool. If you can't or don't know, that's okay too. With all of that in mind, let's start from the right-hand side of our character keeper, heading towards the left. And if you could introduce yourself and remind us about your character, Jen.
Hello, I'm Jen. I use she, her pronouns. I am playing Tekla Abandonado, aka Quanta, who also uses she, her pronouns. Tekla has time control powers, and is a cloaked super. So she, just wanders around looking normal basically all the time. But yeah, having time powers has been a real trip for her. Now she's in this undersea academy surrounded by Atlanteans. Hopefully everything's going to be okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Jen. And thank you for reminding me about the cloaked. One of the things I'd like to set as a goal for myself, just to talk about folks, wishes were mentioned. We have some wishes to talk about, but one of the things I want to do is try to angle some scenes that I purchase towards the profile for each of you, because you get value points at the end of scenes where you respond or you're forced to react along those lines. So thank you for that note about being cloaked. Tyler, you're up next.
Hi there, I'm Tyler, he, him pronouns, and I am playing Tara Gamble, also known as Tai Chi. She is a reality manipulator through the uttering of I wish. However, she has been burned by this power many, many times, and so now is enormously careful what she says, how she says it. She tends to be a little shy, a little withdrawn, but she's excited to be here, and kind of looking forward to making friends, which I don't think she had a great many. Her growing up situation was not the greatest, and so she's quite pleased to have been sent here.
Ooh, that is probably not an attitude that everyone holds. Sabine, you're next. Please introduce yourself. Tell us about your character.
Yeah, sure. Hi, I'm Sabine. I use any pronouns. I'm playing Dorothy, who uses she, her pronouns. Dorothy is from Kansas and has hurricane powers. Her profile is shifted, which means she has to actually do a little needs to power up a little before using the full extent of her powers. There's always a little wind around her, I think, and her hair gets out of her braid a lot. Dorothy, she's putting on a good face about this, but she's really homesick. She's under sea. You can't even see the sky. She misses it like crazy. She misses her family. She misses her friends. But hey, she's a superhero now, right? And okay, so maybe she caught up a hurricane that destroyed a lot of Kansas. But anyway, they will teach her how to control this. She will be a good superhero, and she will get to go home because there's no place like home. And no, oh God, now she's quoting that thing. She will try to avoid that. Her mother was a huge fan.
Wonderful. Last but not least, Alex, you're up.
Hi, I'm Alex. I use he, him, and I'm playing Karen Kowalski, aka Refuse. She has anger issues and authority problems, and also has kind of a Magneto-ish powers, but with a lot less control. So she can create metal shrapnel storms, if not very, very focused. And I realize she's already gone to the manager to complain. I did not. I just realized that now.
Or playing a Karen.
Yeah.
Kudos. Good stuff. At the in our last session, you guys did a bit of exploring the academy. We had a confrontation scene between Refuse and Triton, and we ended with some astronaut ice cream, which I think is a delightful scene. It was heartwarming. It was almost honobono. As a reminder, we have some wishes on the table. Classroom scenes. That is something I'll be purchasing if no one else does. Meeting more NPCs, seeing some Atlantean teens and how they react to all of you, and a wish for something to investigate. Now, Tyler, you had to leave a little bit early. Do you have any wishes you'd like to throw out there that we can earmark for future sessions?
No, I think I'm solid right now. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Good. So we will now move around the horn. The last, who purchased the investigate the academy, or sorry, that would be the explore the academy scene. Do we remember if that was an Oz purchase or a Tekla purchase or Quanta purchase?
I think Quanta opened up the purchase and then Oz jumped in.
Okay, cool. Well, Oz, do you have a scene you would like to purchase?
Maybe I only have one scene point left.
Oh,
So
no. If you want to squirrel it away, that is okay.
I will for now bank it away and see if I can jump into another scene or something like that. And if not, then I will go for another thing. But right now I don't have a clear idea. So
cool. Then Taiki.
I also have one scene point left.
Oh goodness.
But
how about I just look around and see if anyone has more than one scene point? Oh,
yeah,
goodness. It looks like Karen is the only one who has more than one scene point. Sorry, what were you going to say, Tyler?
I was like, yeah, let's even them up a little. So
happily spend a point to jump in with somebody else's scene.
Well, you have 3 scene points, and everyone else has.
I'll jump into everyone's scenes. Yes.
You'll jump into all the scenes. Do you have a scene you want to lead off with? I have a few scene points, so if it feels like everybody wants to hold on to their scene points, I will take them.
I'll have a little peruse of the scenes and see if something comes to mind. I'm also wondering if I forgot to remove any points. I think I started off with some of the highest.
Yeah,
I started with 5, and then I didn't join in that group, the exploring scene, and I did take the confrontation scene and a bond
Mhm.
Mhm.
So and that's just 2
Seems-
points. So
Yeah. Seems with-
mm,
Okay.
um, is the like what would be good for like a class room scene?
I was just thinking through that
'Cause
as I
would
looked at
like
the
to skip
wishes.
that if
I feel like it could be exploring the academy. Although expressly exploring the academy is stated as a scene to look at open and concealed areas of the academy to learn more about what makes the operation tick. It could be a spotlight scene or a highlight scene. Sorry, spotlight
Yeah.
scene is the
the
container
lieutenant
for
of the
these types.
spotlight, yeah.
Yeah. Which means that you could be showing off what your character is good at within a classroom scene, or just similarly, it could be an interaction spotlight scene, meeting characters, interactions. Perhaps there's a group project you have to work through. Ooh,
I mean, I quite like
repercussion.
the idea of a
Ooh.
highlight scene, maybe with maybe the teachers would need to get a baseline of what we can do.
Ooh, excellent. Though you can purchase that for 1 scene point. And just so we're clear, the benefit of the highlight scene is that at the end, if you complete the steps, then you gain 1+1 value point at the end of the scene. That's for whoever purchases in with their scene point. So does anyone else do any of you can participate in the scene? That's no problem. But if you want to get the opportunity for a value point, you'd need to purchase it with your scene point. Does anyone want to throw in a scene point?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, cool. Then currently we have 2 steps in the scene, and they would need to be resolved by different rolls, successful rolls by Tekla and by Refuse, which means that Dorothy and Tara, you're here. This is a classroom scene. I like that idea. You're cool with that, Alex, right? Classroom
Yeah,
scene, all
definitely.
PCs involved. And I think we will frame up a scene where all of the current students are. I think they're going to go with a more classic classroom style, but it's in a circle. So you all have chairs with desks attached, unless like for Meteorite, who is a beet red with black occasional stripes or markings skinned individual that out of his arms and his shoulders are these weird literal alien rock structures. So him having a desk in front of him is not really physically comfortable or possible. So he sits at a chair. The rest of you all sit at those little chair desk combos. Hopefully you guys have those in Europe, I guess. With Joaquin and Ella, as well as the 4 of you. Your teacher for this class is the Atlantean known as Deva. Deva uses the he, him pronouns. He has coal black eyes, a deep red skin that's a deeper red than Meteorite's skin. He has a pair of wings. In fact, he looks his coloration looks almost devil-like, but the way that his alien body and his 4-armed appearance, also the wings give him appearance not unlike angelic.
I can see why the Wingnut Circus is kind of panicked about anybody going to Atlantis.
Yes, indeed. Deva speaks in a very soothing voice that catches a tone that carries very far in water. However, it also travels through the air relatively well. And we pick up in the scene with Deva explaining, he's giving the lot of you a bit of a history lesson about one of the conflicts between King Crab and the Atlantean, when the Atlantean first rose to prominence, when Z was not the Atlantean at all, but used their birth name, which has been lost to time. And the description of the Atlanteans' conflict against King Crab is suitably titanic. Deva is a bit of a storyteller. There could be some details that are washed a bit poetic. And this is a fine, fine question. Deva refers to all of you by what he refers to as your academy name, which would be your super name. And I'll pose this question to whoever is interested in answering. Are you in some kind of school uniform, or are you in what might be, in this comic book of our story, your costume?
I think Dorothy would be very uncomfortable being in her superhero costume. So she would put some stuff over that, because it's basically a very tight spandex thingy, because everything else gets ripped off by the wind. So
makes sense.
Yeah, but she would prefer if she didn't have to run around like that all the time.
Still maybe wants a jacket and skirt on, at least.
I mean,
At least until things get exciting.
Refuse is basically every day, no matter if she's doing heroing or whatever, is just some variation of just casual and a vest t-shirt thing. So,
Sleep pants and a t-shirt kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cash. What about Tara?
If there isn't an official uniform type thing, I tend to wear just like casual, a little bit hippie looking dresses. I don't really have a super costume.
See,
Yeah,
I'm sure you could wish one into existence.
Right.
And it
I
would
mean,
be awesome, but yeah.
Also, you're glowing. That is maybe your kind of costume.
Yeah.
She's distinct. Yeah, I would not expect Tekla to have her own personal superhero costume. If there's a school uniform, then she's wearing it. If only because, of course, the habit is firmly ingrained from years of Catholic school. So, yep.
Let's say that the dress is casual. There are school uniforms that are provided, but it's up to the teachers whether they enforce that everyone must dress in the school uniform. Does that sound? So there's clothes there in case you need them for whatever reason.
Then I'm probably in a hybrid of I would have put on like the school skirt, but have probably some sort of a bit more flowy, blousey thing for the top.
Wearing it is there.
It's school uniform. Nice. So three of
okay,
the four of you.
now I want the refuse to be like bandana tie or something. Or something just dumb.
Yeah.
Or like maybe just around the tie worn like a belt. Yeah, that's it.
It's a rebellious enough for you.
Yeah. I'm wearing costume. What do you want?
Joaquin is wearing a very nice fitting school uniform. And I think Ella, aka Swipe, is wearing she's wearing the school uniform, but a pair of slacks instead of the skirt. Is that how Tekla, or does Tekla go with?
Oh
school
yeah,
skirt?
like if they didn't offer her slacks, she still has her slacks that she bulled her way into getting at Catholic school. I mean, it's Catholic school, but it is also past the year 2000. So
Yeah, I think that the Atlanteans, who are much more fluid about gender, are way cool with, like, they go, we were told that you wear this. Oh, I need slacks. All right, here are slacks.
understood. Slacks, here they go. Yep.
Exactly.
Nice.
Cool. So, yeah, so David moves around, tells the story. There's a lot of hand gesturing. So I'm imagining a little bit of like C-3PO recounting things to the Ewoks in Return of the Jedi, where there's sound effects that Dave is able to manufacture in very odd and like, wait, does he have some kind of, is he holding a device? Nope, he could just modulate his voice to give sounds of careening vehicles and the crash of some kind of monument during this Titanic fight. There's a great deal of pride in the way that Deva shares this story about a heroic member of Atlantis, a citizen of Atlantis, rising up, becoming more powerful in the face of an illegitimate claim to rulership over Atlantis. And it seems that this may predate the monarchy or the rulership of Makeda, who was recently deposed. So if you're 8, yes, you go. Yes, Stava is the best storyteller in all of the faculty. What do we see from Karen, from Refuse during this story? It goes on for a while. Like, this is an oration. It's animated, but it's long-winded. It's very lots of detail.
That she's like moving her like thumb along the little chat table in front of her with like a coin against the wood that's moving with her thumb and scratching kind of graffiti into the table. Kind of, it's the first 5 minutes were pretty good. At the 20-minute mark, yeah, there was some smashing. 40 minutes into the story, yeah, she's out of it. She's not paying attention anymore.
Nice. I'm imagining now that this is not unlike getting an autograph from Neil Gaiman, where he tells you a very good but long story. Long story. At moments you realize I'm entertained, but not nearly as much as he is telling the story. I know this from personal experience, friends. And then, Tekla, you bought into the scene as well. So what do we see of your reaction to this?
I am taking some notes, but I'm like sort of in and out of paying attention. I have a notepad in front of me, so I can doodle on that if I start to get a bit bored. I'm observing the other classmates in the room. As well as the room itself, right? Just because there's probably some things that are subtly Atlantean about it, even if the Atlanteans tried very hard to make it comfortable for humans or post-human type folks.
I think that this school pod, it actually runs up alongside the biosphere. So while each floor is level, the shape of the building is slightly curved. And so there is a window and you can see fish. You can actually look out to the ocean if you look to your east, but on the west, you can see out into the campus itself. So
Mhm.
that's probably something that gives it a bit of an Atlantean feel.
Yeah, and I definitely find myself just sort of drifting off and staring out the window a few times during the story. Maybe visualizing myself walking into the sea, stuff like that.
Please God, take away the pain.
I mean, it's not really a release me from the storytelling. It's just sort of a what would that be like?
Yes, I can see that. As a kid, I've had those weird thoughts.
Yep.
What's the general expression or panel or two we see of Dorothy during lecture time?
Well, she's trying to pay attention, right? Because this could be relevant. He has to tell it to us for a reason, but she gets distracted by looking at him and looking at his wings and his gills and his thingies. She's trying not to stare, but she's never seen Atlantean. She's fascinated. And so when the story gets to end in this great palace, which I have to tell you now about, she might get lost in staring at 4 arms. Wow, that is amazing. Yeah. Yep, she's fascinated, but maybe not so much by the story.
And then finally, what about Taiki?
I think that I'm listening with rapt attention and like scribbling down a note here and there, primarily like names, especially since Atlantean names probably aren't familiar, so they're very phonetically spelled out.
Good. As the hour of this class comes near its end, Deva finishes the story of King Crab's defeat and the rise of the Atlantean and the founding of this school, which there's a looser tie between one to the other, but it is definitely, let's bring it home to the school and its history. And he then ends with, and if you will, oh, yes, Quanta.
So does the Atlantean have any personal stake in this school?
The Atlantean Z has as much stake in this school as any part of Atlantis. Z has many things to concern herself with as the ruler of Atlantis.
Got it.
Now, class, before our time drifts away from us, please pick up your data pads. I have slid a small quiz on the details, the important, most important details of the history lesson that I have shared with each of you. And you see that there is a quiz that comes up, and it's in English, but you see, like, it's in Spanish for Joaquin. So it obviously can be programmed into multiple different languages, and you have to recite some things that happened. So refuse.
Deva, this one's dead.
He walks over, takes it in his hand. Heads back to the supply area, pulls out another data pad, pulls like a little data crystal out, slides it into the new data pad, comes over. Here you go.
I'm like mulling over just destroying this one as well.
He seems completely
go.
unsurprised and unfazed. He says, I'm sorry that we lost a couple of minutes. I would hate for you to fail this test by not participating in it.
No, whatever. I'm going to very half-heartedly try and do the test.
Very well.
I'm probably going to have to be just guessing most of it though, because
I think that seems fair. Let's build a test because there's a step progression here. I think
Yeah.
that you do you feel that this is an interaction role, or you're just trying to defeat or conflict against the test?
I feel it's more like conflict actually than
I think so too. Yeah, you've got a D10 in that. I don't see how you could bring your power to bear here.
no.
Do you have any values that would apply?
I mean, what are you rebelling against? I think I'm
Been pretty rebellious, yeah.
I'm doing a little minor. Take
Cool.
that authority with my disregard of the pointless test.
And
So,
I think situationally, you've given me the opportunity to add a complication of wasn't really paying attention.
oh yeah.
So it would go from base target of 6 down 1 for your value point, back up to 6 because the narrative says you were not really paying it. You were not prepared for this. Cool. So you're going to be rolling your conflict roll of a D10. Let's share screens. See how this goes. If you BS your way through this
I have a
test.
T10 from before. I don't think. Oh no, this one's a D. I think which one's my color? No, it doesn't have a D10.
I don't remember the
cyan.
colors.
Yeah, I had a
Gotcha.
cyan, but that's gone now, and it's been replaced by purple. So I'll try and match the color that I had before. And are we doing the adding the dice is the roll, or we place it?
I
and
was
then
like
roll it?
rolling it, like adding a die, just dropping on the table feels awkward to me, but you define it because I think some people do it when they add the die.
Okay, I'm going to say when I add the die.
Okay,
It's whatever the
so
number I get is.
When we see a D10 pop on here, we know that that's your roll. Oh, goodness, that is a 2.
It's a 2, yes.
That is a fail. And unfortunately, you don't really have much from because I was looking at the value points to see if you had any way to fiddle with the dice, but I think you just fail, which seems appropriate. What is the part of the recollection in the quiz where you wholly make up something completely inaccurate?
Well, I mean, I heard 2 names, Atlantean and King Crab. So I probably there's a question that might be a little bit it's not super clear. It's asking for a location. So I just put King Crab.
Nice. But King Crab as
it's
the location.
Yeah.
Tekla, you're paying pretty good attention. You feel relatively confident about answering this quiz. It's not actually that hard if you paid attention most of the time. Here is where I think your conflict lies.
Okay.
Swipe is sitting beside you, and you're relatively sure she is stealing your answers as you give them. What do you do? She's not looking over your shoulder.
Of course, she doesn't have to. Why would she?
Exactly.
That would
But
give
you
her
get the
away.
feeling that like you do a thing, she does a thing, and she never looked over, but you just
But the timing is just perfect.
exactly
every
as
single
a person
answer.
who's good at time powers, you get that timing innately. That is the challenge. What do you do?
How much do I care? Well, I can't prove it, but man, if this becomes a regular thing, that seems obnoxious. It's risky, but I'm going to try to dilate time so that I finish before she notices.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it. It is risky, but it is wonderful. I am a big fan of this option. Okay, so let's see here. I think this is a kind of confrontation. Does that feel
Yeah, this seems conflicting.
okay? And you're bringing in your overpower. Do any of your values apply?
I mean, I don't want to be responsible for her cheating, so I don't want her to get in the habit.
Okay, cool. Then that will knock it down to a 5. I don't see any complications here other than you're bringing a power to bear, which is just the dice, right? So your target number is a 5. You will be rolling. I'm so excited about this. A D8 and a D12. Oh, good luck.
Oh boy.
Are you doing the drop dice in as rolled or?
Uh,
I think you like to roll
yeah,
them.
you know
Or,
what?
no?
Or, I mean, I'm happy to do either.
All right. Well,
Let's-
since you didn't declare, let's just have you drop them in, then roll them.
There we
D8
go.
and a D12. Where'd they go?
I
over
put them
here?
over here in a little nook.
Ah, here's your nook.
Yeah. Can I select more than one die at a time to roll?
You can, like, you can go click and then click like
uh-huh.
that.
There we go.
Oh, you got those two? D8
Yeah.
and a D12, a 1 and a 5, a 6. Oh my God, I did not expect this. A 6. That is pretty great. So your target number was a 6 -1, 5. So you did go over, but you are successful, which means you get to add a value point at the end of this scene, and you only gain 1 havoc.
Whew.
So the havoc is take a complication or cause collateral damage. Those are the 2 options for 1 havoc.
Let's take a complication. I wanna see what you do.
Nice. So you are successful. You dilate time. What is tech? Because Tekla did this, right? There's just a weird complication, which I would think your narration of what this seems like will help me to understand a complication to add.
Basically, time stops and Tekla takes a moment to sort of look around at the frozen classroom around her, gets up, like, does this in front of Swipe. It's like, all right, cool. Finishes her quiz and then very carefully, like, closes her eyes, uses whatever part of herself feels time moving through space and sort of eases it back where it needs to be.
That is wicked. All right. You you finish first then, right? Because everybody else was still working on it. And the complication.
I mean, if Swipe's reading my mind every few seconds, she totally knows I did it.
Yeah, she's going to know there's a big jump. I think the complication is something will increase the target number by 1 for actions you take in the future.
Okay.
How do you feel about the idea of a complication called time debt? So it's not something that the time, you've stolen some time, and at some point time will want that back.
So I'm gonna freeze up.
Yeah. Does
Okay.
that feel
Yeah, that's interesting. I like it.
cool? So we'll call it time debt, DEBT. And for Oz, Taiki, and Refuse, you're taking your test, puzzling over the quiz, blink, and Quanta stands up and she heads over and hands off the data pad to Deva. He was like so fast and swipe, just mouth agape and
Is it okay if I go use the restroom? Instructor Deva?
Of course. Excellent work, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
Excellent work. Each of you start turning in the quiz. You all do, well, average. Refuse. Not average. Low average. We don't call it a failure. We do call it a lack of success. Swipe, like there's a point where all of her answers just drop off and she makes some stuff up. But she knows better than to cheat off of Refuse. And I think at the end of our scene, mechanically, Tekla will get 1 value point, which you can apply to any of the 3 values that you have. You brought the responsibility into the role, so that, of course, is the easy one. But you can talk off either of the other 2 if you'd like to add a point to it. In fact, me, though, whatever, has 0 points. So if you want to put 1 there, you're welcome to.
We still need to fulfill
Yeah,
one step,
talk
right?
me into it. Yeah.
Well, we could, if Refuse wants to go to do something else about the fact that I think, Refuse, you realize you're making stuff up. You've really blown this test. And it seems like everybody else is doing okay-ish. Is there anything you'd like to do about that?
I think, I think I'd like hand up. Like, I mean, quizzes are all well and good, but I mean, when we're out there in the real world and, blowing up cities with our mind powers, is this really going to be useful? I mean, seems like a waste of time. Shouldn't we be like throwing, cars and dropping buildings in half?
I'm the one will handle the more physical aspects of your training. That is not the purpose of this class or this.
And the purpose of this class is?
To understand the history of the academy and your potential in being a hero.
Say so.
Why don't you tell me a story then, Refuse?
Once upon a time, there was a girl and she used her powers and went out and actually used them and fought crime. Occasional fuck ups, but
what
everyone's learning.
kind of crime did she fight? And do you know this person from the story?
Yeah. I think I was being that subtle. Me went out and fight crimes. I mean, anyone else got experience doing that? Or are they just, good at doing quizzes?
Joaquin raises his hand a little bit, but he doesn't answer out loud. He just evidently.
I pause in the door, but I just shake my head and leave.
All right. Refuse. We'll give you a second bite at the apple. I think you're trying to interact with Deva here to reshape the focus of his class, to reevaluate the validity of this quiz.
Yeah.
Do any of your values apply to this interaction role? I definitely think you're rebelling.
Yeah, I can't see that's yeah. What's the do you have a target number?
Yeah, it starts with 6, and so you've
yeah.
knocked it down to a 5.
Yeah.
I think the complication of you just failed this quiz you're deriding seems right, so we'll push that back to a 6.
Yeah.
Are you bringing any of your power to bear? I don't think so.
I mean, unless I wanted to do an actual physical representation of, action is more important.
Deva was very demonstrative with his story. You also could be.
I mean, I wasn't planning to do that, but I feel it's kind of part of the game. I think.
Sure, this sounds great.
Now I think I am.
You are rolling 2D. Wow, you are so good at interaction. It is bananas. You're rolling 2D12 against the target number of 6.
I'm
not
sure if that's a good thing.
So well. So very well.
Do I have a D12 already in play? I do. No.
These are D12s.
Can't tell which way. I missed what you were pointing at.
Oh, these things.
Oh, yeah. I think my 7 is a D12. Yeah.
I think so. Yes.
So I'll
You're gonna drop a second D12.
I'm gonna drop it as D, then I'll re-roll both.
Okay, sounds great.
So just so it's so I think I've got both of those selected. Oh, I didn't have both selected. Okay. So now, oh well, it was
Definitely
one again. Yeah.
Okay.
So I got exactly 12.
Got exactly 12. It was a target number of 6. Exactly a 12 is 2 havoc. And 1 or 2 havoc is effective. Oh my goodness, you're gonna get a value point. This is insane. It means you're effectively changing Dave's opinion of his own teaching. You've caused his teacher to have a little bit of a crisis of faith about his own approach. But please, before we get into that, what are you doing with this 2 havoc? Now you can buy 2 1 havoc things or a full. You could become harmed, by the way, and get yourself a second value.
I think. Am I the cause of collateral damage and taking a complication? Yeah, that. I think all those tests just need to be scrunched into a ball and then just dumped down onto the ground.
Oh man, you like pull all the data pads together, mash them as part of your description of your destructive power. You are literally being.
This is kind of part of the finale of my grand, well thought out speech. So, I kind of start to glow a little bit of electricity, and of course, because my power's kind of further away from my body, the more erratic they get. I think definitely all these tables around us are all rattling. They're not getting thrown around, but there's a slight slide and rattle to all the chairs and tables.
Davis, alarmed, worried about the students, concerned about this escalating. But when you finish your story and there's only collateral damage, that no one seems to have been harmed, a little shocked. I'm curious how Taiki reacts to getting shook around by this.
Yeah, there's a bit of alarm and like seeing my data pad get crunched that I had worked on my test for. it's not anger, but kind of like disappointment and hurt a little. And
Oh, they're not angry. They're disappointed in
Mm.
you, Refuse.
Oh.
yeah, there's kind of that, like just a little bit of fear of what you're doing here.
And what about Oz's reaction to Kowalski's?
I was almost finished with this, right? I was almost finished, and then she.
And you were
Yes.
doing well, weren't you?
I was, yes, I felt that I was maybe not acing it, but it wasn't easy because of the spelling of these Atlantean. Anyway, I was nearly finished, and then I was gone. And for a second, I am a little angry, and you can see some of my hair kind of rolling out of my braid. Well, I take a breather because, hey, she means well. It's a good lesson. It's a good story that she's telling. She means well. And it's fine that she's in my class. I like her demonstrating her powers. I do.
Nice.
I'm going to say, I think Kowalski's is almost immediately regretting her outburst and kind of feeling like all the eyes on her. So she's like slumped back down in the chair and kind of not making eye contact.
Class.
Can I say something?
Oh, yes. Oh, please.
I will say, well, that was a ripping story, Karen. Amazing. And you also destroyed our useless work that we done for the last half hour. Thank you for showing us that. Yeah. Thank you.
Deva says, I'm glad that no one was hurt with that display that I'm sure you did not intend to cause the damage that you did. It was not the lesson I intended, but it seems we have all learned a little something today. And I am, these things cost money. So I am going to very quickly, before we take our bio break, I'm going to purchase a cutaway to explain your complication. So I will spend my one scene point here I've got 2 left, and we're near the end of the act, I think. Here's the cutaway. The GM creates a scene that does not involve the supers or acts behind the scene preview, where there's come up with, and we cut back to that control room where we knew the headmistress was watching, and Paula Kahanu sees what you've done. Strike 1 against Karen Kowalski. And Asimar is there, another one of the four-armed red-skinned Atlanteans. And Asimar says, am I to be correct in that you are considering a step towards expulsion when she has only been here a few days? The headmistress looks at her. Considering it, she's 33% the way there. She's nothing but a troublemaker. We can save nothing of her. She's looking at a lifetime of incarceration. Osmar says, I do not think that you see what I see. Well, you're not the headmistress, are you? And your complication will be strike 1 with the administration. So let's take our mid-game bio break here. All right, we're back during the break. We had a bit of discussion on the resolution of the last scene. It was a successful completion of the one step the refuse needed to successfully get the highlight the highlight spotlight scene. That's not easy for me to say. So you get a value point for that. And then I believe it was Sabine who pointed out the profile of aura says if you, at the end of a scene, you get a +1 value point if you draw unwanted attention to yourself or use your power to take a stand on any of your values. You used a value to fuel that roll. Therefore, you double dip and get a second value point. Unfortunately, Jen's character of Tekla has a cloaked, which is all about secret identity stuff. So
She did get one for the scene.
did get one for the scene, but not a second one. We also had a brief conversation about how darn hard it's going to be to get some of these profiles within the particulars of our academy setting. And there was also a wish for seeing Atlantean teens. So I'm going to try to solve for both by purchasing the next scene. I am going to purchase a scene of a so here's what I want, and then someone help me figure out which scene is appropriate. What I want is for Swipe to cajole the four of you. Hopefully you're not going to fight too hard because comic book logic. She has discovered one of the little mantas subs. She's discovered one of them is not entirely locked up, and she wants to go for a joyride. So, sorry, I thought that was a funny statement from Jen in the chat. So which of these scenes feels like it's weird for me to codify a scene? I find that a lot of times I play role-playing games like a jazz musician. I find the scene as we participate in. What is the scene about? I don't know. When I want to explore this space, I want to explore these themes. What is it about? I don't exactly know. So this is a challenge for me. I'm not entirely locked up. Yay. This isn't a flashback scene. It could be investigation, but it's really about the supers wanting answers about the story.
I think it's exploring, right?
It's
Because
exploring,
Could be
but
a
it's
discovery if we find something.
yeah,
all
or
right.
that,
You know
or
what?
that, yeah,
I will spend 2 steps to purchase a discovery scene.
Cool.
That sounds
Yes,
great, and
that's
that
cool.
fills me up.
That's cool.
Which means at the end of this scene, we will have.
Are you spending? I don't know if you're spending scene points, so you only spend 1 scene point. It'll have 2 steps.
Oh, it has 2 steps. Thank you for differentiating for high. Oh my goodness, you're right. Because it actually says at the top, all GM spotlight scenes cost 1 scene point. It's 2 steps, and I threw myself off. Thank you, Tyler, for catching me on that. The GM uses this scene to reveal important information about the plot and/or character in the story. This can include something from a super's past, including their origin story, which I did a little bit of that in our highlight scene, but that's okay. The information is not hidden. These are answers, not additional mysteries. Cool. So we pick up during the sleep cycle. As pointed out by Dorothy, you are far away from the sun. So a day and a night cycle here is simulated for your circadian rhythms or some such. Meaning that the ambient lights or the bioluminescence that lights up your dormitory rooms have dimmed, and you're supposed to be in your dorm suite, if not in your particular dorm room. Let's see, we haven't seen much from Oz or Taiki, so either of you, one of you is up. It could be Oz with some homesickness thoughts. It could be Taiki with some other melancholy thoughts. It could be both of you.
You want to do this, Tyler?
Yeah.
Cool.
So what are you doing when Swipe appears?
Me? Yeah. I am I think that I'm probably like in the commons area, and I'm trying to figure out like what they have on their version of television.
Oh, that's interesting. That's great because that actually leads to a thing we talked about. I think you flip around. It seems that they have tied into some satellite television broadcasts. So there's like Mexican wrestling. There's a whole channel of like purchasing stuff. It's like a QVC kind of channel. And then you actually find the NHK. What's the NHK? I don't know what that is.
It's like Japan's Channel 1, basically.
Oh, neat. NHK. And then you find the Atlantic City news is on. And they're doing an expose on the academy that you find, and there are reactions from people in Atlantica City. Why are they taking our children to indoctrinate them into this Atlantean way? None of them are even humans. A few of the people who are being interviewed, you realize this Atlantean City broadcast is on the more conservative angle. So these people should be taught how to wield their powers by red-blooded Americans, at the very least Earthlings. And someone says, well, the reporter says, let's remind that the Atlanteans are from Earth as well. You know what I mean? Humans, humanity. They've got all that technology. They've got superpower beings. And what do we have? Yeah. Permanent face of confusion at bow tie. You know, we call them Earthlings, but are they really? And then there's a bit of a diatribe by the host of this news report. And it's, I don't know, is Taiki entertained by this, shocked by this?
I think kind of bothered by the idea that I think there's a little bit of that undertone of they should be up here with us so we can use them against others. They could, they're an asset we should be using, and that sort of bothers her.
What a load of crap, you hear from behind you, and you see Swipe.
Yeah, it kind of is, isn't it?
They're just jealous. They wish they had our stuff.
They sound like they're afraid of the Atlanteans.
Nah. They just wish they had superpowers. Like we do.
Oh. I mean, there are ups and downs to having powers.
Did you know that Quanta used her power in class today? Froze time. You felt it, right?
No, but I noticed Refuse use hers.
Oh, well, of course. That was awesome, right?
Not exactly awesome, no.
Does Taiki really think it's not exactly awesome?
No, Taki was kind of scared by it and really bothered by what Refuse was feeling there. She could tell that Refuse was hurting, and that's why it happened.
Swipe pauses. It was a little scary, I guess.
I just feel like Refuse is looking for something, and I don't know if the I don't know if the lessons that are being taught yet are really helping her.
Yeah, maybe not. So I came to see if any of you guys wanted to get out of here for a little bit.
Out of go where?
Well, Atlantis isn't that far. We could go there. They have rebreathers in the Manta that isn't exactly locked up.
Well, we're not. I mean, Mr. Triton said it's not like we're prisoners here. We
Exactly.
are. I mean, you've been here longer. Are there rules that we
No, it's
can't?
totally fine. It's totally fine. We just it's school
Oh.
equipment, and we normally have to go through like a whole lot of filling out forms and everything. That's all I'm saying is we just ignore the forms and just take the Manta for a spin. It'll be fun. It's easy to fly. Looks easy. I'm sure it's easy. No problems. They had basically an ex-con flying it, so
You
obviously.
haven't flown one before?
No, but I think Joaquin said he had.
Oh. And it's okay if we leave campus.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd love to see Atlantis. I mean, I've seen so many pictures, but I mean, it's right there, so close.
Why would they even have an academy this close if they didn't want us to? I took a peek at one of the like itineraries, and we're supposed to go in a week or so anyway. But why wait? Let's just do it.
Well, maybe we can even do a little shopping or something.
Oh yeah. Do you have any money?
Not a lot, but I mean, I've always wanted to try Atlantean food.
Cool. Go get Quanta because I'm slightly terrified of her. I
Okay.
don't think she likes me. Okay, honestly, I know she doesn't really like me.
Well, sure, I'll see.
Which room is Refuse's?
The one that has the sign that says "Keep out." This means you. No, I fucking mean it.
And it also has a little hole where she pulled a bolt through the door.
Jeez.
Already.
Nice. So you hear, look, there's a knock at the door. Refuse.
What?
Inspection.
Fuck off. I'm
Door
sleeping.
open. Door opens up. Hey,
Mm,
we're breaking out.
well, give me a second. Yeah.
Swipe's
Drag her
totally
feet
like
out of the
walks
bed.
in. Now that she doesn't think you're going to throw things at her, she comes in and starts looking around. What's something that in your room that you've done or put up that says a little something about Kowalski?
Mm. I think she does have some memorabilia from being a superhero, possibly some news clippings
Mm-hmm.
of actually, lives that she has saved, to remember that she's, she has done, she may have.
Wow. News clippings? Where the hell did you
Yeah.
get a newspaper?
Yeah,
Did you go to like
Bro.
Books 100 or something?
I brought it with me. Just whatever.
It's
You said we were
cool.
breaking out.
Yep. Don't tell Taiki that we're actually breaking out. She thinks that this is okay.
All right.
Cool. Okay, well, I'm gonna wake up Oz.
Get my boots on them.
You're muted, Rich.
That's because I'm telling the assistant to shut up.
Oh.
So I didn't want you guys to hear my angry tone. Cool. So how does Dorothy sleep heavily?
Usually, yes. Down here, not so much. No, it's all that water over your head. It kind of makes her a bit anxious.
Knock at the door, and then Swipe will come right in. Hey,
Hi, Ella. One thing, if you knock at the door, you wait for people to say, come in where I come from. Sorry to say that, but I'd really love if you did that.
oh, I knew you're awake, so I thought you'd said come in. But you didn't say that out loud?
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that even. I didn't.
She goes back and closes the door. Knocks again.
Yeah, she gets some angry thoughts because Dorothy is all puppies and sunshine when she is talking, but when she's thinking, it's more like, what does that little brown noser want is basically what she's thinking.
So she knocks at the door again and waits.
Yeah, come in.
Opens the door up.
Hi, Ella.
We're going on a field trip. You want to come with?
Of course. Should I wear the costume thingy?
Just wear whatever.
Okay. Okay.
We're going to be in water, so you'll need a rebreather, but
Okay. Great. Okay. By this point, Dorothy
Close the
thinks
door.
this is a school thing, right?
she kept things nice and neutral.
Yep. Okay.
So Taiki, I assume Quanta, you handle Quanta.
Yeah. Hello.
And there's no response on the door. There's
Oh.
some sounds from inside. They're not particularly threatening noises. Someone's moving around.
Tekla, it's Tara.
There's a couple more uncertain beats, and then Tekla like opens the door and leans out. She's got these big can headphones, and one of them's been like pulled off of one of her ears. You can hear some of it through that. Oh, hey. Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Oh, well, there's a group of us. We were thinking of going into Atlantis and, just doing a little sightseeing. You want to go?
Yeah,
Awesome.
cool.
Come on, and I'll head out.
Let me change out of my PJs. I'll be right there.
Cool.
I think we do a like page turn, and immediately you guys are walking up into the innards of the Manta sub. Joaquin is already in there. Meteorite is not. And Ella takes a seat near the front, like co-pilot or something. And then she looks around. She goes, "Wait, does somebody else want to be Joaquin's co-pilot?" Joaquin looks around. I could use some help.
Isn't the teacher coming with us?
Oh, I'm like room monitor and stuff. It's cool, right, Karen?
Okay.
Kowalski?
Have a seat next to
Kowalski.
Joaquin.
Nice.
Okay.
So the Manta starts to pick up in the air, right? But it very quickly heads towards one of the apertures. How is it that, what is it about the way that this thing is controlled that Tekla just seems to get with her physics knowledge?
So, like, that tail is actually really important for propulsion.
Oh, cool.
But it also can create propulsion kind of from any selection of part of that cone, which is actually pretty keen and flexible. And yeah, there's stabilizing forces that get generated at the wingtips to, keep the yaw from getting out of control. I'm probably totally wrong, but
I've heard the words pitch and yaw,
yeah.
so I'm sure it's right.
Sure. But yeah, it's pretty keen actually to pilot this guy. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I think you control a bit of the thruster, whereas Joaquin's figured out that this globe thing, if you like roll your hand over it, it gives you very fine control over the actual stabilization of the manta. But then there's also a left stick that he seems to start to figure out. And as you guys head towards the aperture, it opens up, irises open, you head in, and then there's like an airlock process that's pretty nearly instantaneous, and boom, you're going through the water, bubbles streaming behind you, heading toward the bright lights of Atlantis City, I guess. Maybe, I don't know, we'll do Star Wars thing where it's like, so-and-so city named after so-and-so nation. But yeah, you're headed that direction. Swipe comes back to sit by you. Refuse. You don't think that Oz or Daiki will rat us out, right?
I mean, as long as you don't tell them that we're not allowed to do this, we should be fine. We'll be fine, right? Yeah. Seems like a slap on the wrist type of place.
It's not a prison.
Exactly. You told me. I think you heard through the walls.
And the city itself it's beautiful. There's all this bioluminescence. There also seems to be some kind of running power. You hear the hum that you'd missed from larger cities, that low hum of just lots of people, of energy, of things alive. There are fish that swim over the top of the city, but it seems that the majority, there's so many Atlanteans moving about that fish seem to shy away from the majority of the streets. And there are a number of manta and other types of conveyance. There are tubes that people just swim along. And then there are people who just swimming where they go. It's not like they would walk. That seems to be a limitation. You wouldn't force upon yourself here. The lights are a myriad of colors, rainbows of expression in what appears to be from the forms of the letters seem to be several different languages, perhaps. What is one thing that catches Taiki's eye as the lot of you travel into Atlantis?
I think that there are surrounding the city, and so as we're kind of looking across, we can see all of these very cultivated, like seaweed areas of green, and it's hard to tell if that's actually like farm or if it's like park, because it is so beautifully manicured in either way, either way of it. It's like done in almost designs, and it provides this, real scenic approach.
Nice. That's really cool. Oz, what's something that you see here that surprisingly reminds you of home?
I think what surprisingly reminds me of home. Yeah, I think it would be the fact that if you probably some of the kelp fields that are swaying in the waves, that kind of motion that it's almost like the wind at home, but the colors are all wrong. But still, it's kind of like home, almost. Not really, but yeah.
It seems like Joaquin, you and Tekla, the two of you, seem to silently communicate. Yeah, we're just going to kind of travel over Atlantis and see the sights. But then, Kowalski, you spot amid the throng a group of 5 humans. They're not wearing rebreathers, but they don't have the aspects of sharks or the green skin of your headmistress or the deep reds of Deva and Asimar. They look like people who are just swimming here. They're scantily clad. They look about your age, oddly enough. One girl with reddish hair that floats, kind of streams behind her as she swims.
Huh. I like tap the window, like, you guys see this?
Yeah. There they are, just swimming along. And like I check the instruments for how deep we are.
You're deep. You're at the bottom of the ocean. And it is unlikely that you could easily travel. Now, I think during some of your early orientation, you guys were shown how to use the rebreather, and I don't know if I'd like to comic book away the idea of the bends and all these other things that would prevent you being able to exit the manta ray, if everybody's cool with that.
Part of the rebreather.
I like this.
Consultancy tech.
Good.
Yep. It's figured out somehow and we don't need to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because
Yep.
discussing the bends is awful.
It is a terrible, awful thing. It proves that we are just only suited for a certain percentage of our world.
Which is, kind of a lot for one species, but
True.
still.
Fair.
But yeah. Do we buzz them? It seems stupid.
Oh, we buzz them.
What's the purpose of this trip again?
We're going to interact with the locals as part of being a
Okay.
hero. You have to know the people.
And sightseeing. Haven't you always wanted to see Atlantis City?
No.
Really?
I mean, sure. But not really. No, no, I did not want to. But it's pretty. It's really pretty.
It's going to be
so-
way better than a documentary. Come on, let's have some cultural exchange.
Oh yeah, sure. Love it. And to Ella, Dorothy hates all this.
Nice. And I think Swipe will undo her little seatbelt thing. She was sitting near Kowalski, and she comes back and stands near you, Oz, and says, it's not going to be that bad. This could be fun.
Yeah, I've never said it was bad. And are you actually reading my thoughts?
I can't. Yes, but I mean, I'm not trying. It just, it's really
Okay.
obvious.
Okay, I guess you can help. Having powers as much as I can. So yeah, this will be awesome. I'm really excited.
Okay. We'll make it awesome.
It already
Joaquin,
is.
can we park this thing? Yes. He looks over to you just to make sure.
Yeah, I'm down to park.
go see you guys. The manta like slides, banks a little bit, and eventually comes to a point. And you actually see this little seashell looking landing. That looks like a landing pad, and so you go over there, and that gaggle of like 5 swimmers, human swimmers. You're just a man to them. They don't realize the significance, but you two are able to work together and park not far from them and pop in your rebreathers and I guess swim out.
Yep.
The water
Yeah.
is surprisingly warm. It feels comforting, almost. Yeah, it feels comforting. It feels nice. It's unexpected. One might think that you'd freeze down here, but even in your scant clothes without a wetsuit, it seems to be relatively easy to move about.
So another point of comic book ism here for the rebreather use and so on. I think that it's a worthy declaration to say that we can talk while we're using them.
Sure.
Yes.
The rebreather also could be just like a little helmet, like
Or
a
like
really,
like a half mask kind of thing.
yeah.
Maybe it's
Just transparent.
see-through, so you can yeah.
I like that. Absolutely. Thank you for that. That is really good.
Yep.
My brain was
Maybe there's a
defaulting
radio
to-
in it just in
Yeah.
case, that kind of thing. So that, the comic panels of us word ballooning at each other aren't meaningless. It's
Right.
just not something you can depict very well in a comic book, is people being unable to speak to each other even though they're right in front of each other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Does anyone chase after those people or let them go?
Yeah.
What do you do?
Oh yeah. No, I'm definitely boosting off of the mantis once I'm out, or manta once I'm out and it's parked, etc. Not in that order.
Sure. Is anyone
Whilst he is
not a
awkwardly
great
falling.
swimmer? Does anyone want to declare their character isn't very good at swimming? Otherwise, we'll just assume you all can swim wherever you need to, unless you want to make it a character attribute that you're awful swimming in water. Seems like everybody's cool with being a pretty good swimmer. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Tekla takes off, and I think Joaquin is also curious, and also he wants to be your co-pilot now, so he's gonna swim after you. What about you, Kowalski? What do you do?
Is the manta ray thing made of metal?
That is a great question. I imagine that at first blush, you would assume it to be metal. I kind of like the idea that it is more of a
I get a sense that it's like this is like 0.3% iron and that's it.
yeah,
It's like a
enough to where
vial
you
of it,
could
yeah.
do something with it. But
I could
it's
probably make it malfunction, but I don't think I could.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
you can mess with its
limit.
bits, but it's not like you could easily just pick it up
No.
because there's so little. The metal is inside it rather than the
Yeah.
shell itself. Is that cool?
Yeah.
There is
No, I
lots
just
of
swim
metal
normally.
here. Lots of metal in this area. So don't worry. In fact, I think as you guys are swimming, Tekla, you're swimming to catch up with that group. There's this area of Atlantis that very much looks like they retrofitted some kind of ship that fell at some point. And they just went in, put a bunch of coral around it, formed the portholes into wider areas, and it's this hotel, casino, something. It's all kinds of crazy crystal lights in it, and it's an old oil liner of some kind. Maybe who knows? Maybe it's the fucking Valdez. Who knows? But it's
Clearly it's meant to be an attraction now.
yes, it is definitely an attraction. It's one of those, yeah, well, if they're going to pollute our world, we'll just make it into something declarations, it seems. with your attempt to catch up to them, one of the guys looks back and he says something, and they all stop swimming and then just float a little closer to you. You notice that they have webs between their fingers that you can see as you get closer, that they have gills along the sides of their necks, webbed toes as well. In fact, you even see little bits of fin off of the back, right above their Achilles tendon. Seems to be these not vestigial, but like little aspects that have grown upon what look otherwise as mostly hairless human bodies.
Oh,
Hey,
They look at each other for a little bit, and then the one with the red hair, it kind of does that cool splaying out, and almost
you
like
guys know where to
weird-
have a good time around here?
Great
They look at each
question.
other for just a minute, and yes, she says, and their voice travels through the ocean in comic book logic. And then one of the guys seems to smile a little bit, and he points over towards the sunken ship.
Is that where you're headed?
They nod. You can tell that like they're trying to remember how is it that these people non-verbally communicate with each other. There's a little bit of a language barrier. But just before Swipe steps in to try to interpret, they all start to catch up and get the message across. And you're from the academy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That an
Come.
issue?
They don't seem to say it's an issue. It's more of a "we want to place why you're even here" type of question. And then they just start swimming towards the ship.
Cool.
Sounds like an invitation.
Yeah. Let's go.
I will ask one of them, hey, what is that? Is that I mean, what is that, a dance place?
Yes, dancing.
Okay, cool.
Then he looks to
Internally,
one of his-
Tekla's like, yes, Atlanteans have dancing.
Does it have a name?
I'm just going to go with it. They call it the Valdez.
The what now?
The Valdez.
The Valdez. Okay, I'll write that down phonetically because I have my notepad here, right?
Sure.
I mean, this is a school thing. We need to do a report. I expect.
Oh, I love it that you've brought that along. That is so awesome.
I like it.
Cool.
And I
Get a
think
little
Tekla's
thumbs up
actually
from Kowalski. Like,
actually wearing her field outfit, aka her superhero wingsuit,
Mm-hmm.
because it seems most like a wetsuit amongst all of the things that she owns. And she heard swimming. She didn't actually bring a swimsuit to school. Seemed like she wouldn't be swimming, and she's like, well, of all the outfits I've got, which one do I care the least about if it's wet? And it's primarily black and like this non-glossy black, so it's very flattening, right? And it's got this sort of Doppler pattern emanating from one shoulder out throughout the whole thing, in this very light gray blue.
And the guy that you asked if there's dancing, Dorothy, he swims closer to you. He has these brown eyes that are so dark they're almost coal black. But he's handsome. He has like this little bit of hair that he's grown in a fanciful, like almost beard kind of thing. Maybe he can't grow it any more full than that, but it's striking because other than the hair on their heads, most of the rest of them are hairless. And he says, "What's your name?"
Dorothy.
"Dorothy."
And yours?
"Oren."
Oren. Hi. Nice to meet you.
"It's nice to meet you." And you can tell that he's treading water, like he's slow. He's swimming slow to stay close to you. "Are you from Atlantica City?"
No, I'm from Kansas, actually, which is a place that is nowhere near the ocean.
"Oh, I'm so sorry."
No, it's a great place.
"What is great about Kansas?"
We have the sky, right? It's like forever goes on forever. And the fields, like these kelp fields, only they're golden. And we have the sunlight, which I imagine down here you don't get that much of. But I can't describe to you what the sunlight is like if you don't see it regularly. It's just the most beautiful thing. And we have wind.
Wind.
Like, yeah, that's also nice. And we have hurricanes, which are not so nice, but anyway, nowhere near.
Oh,
And we have cattle or cows there.
we have sea cows.
Oh,
That's
cool.
trying to yes, we have a thing like you.
Cool. Oh, that is nice.
And a lot of you all swim into this area, this bathes in this beautiful yellow light, but you see people, you hear this thumping bass that seems to have been contained by the ship itself, but it's much louder here, and it permeates, right? It isn't just a thing you feel in your feet, you feel it throughout the water. It carries the sound. And there is one of the shark folk who's actually set up as some kind of electronic apparatus creating music. There's a light show, and you see a number of other younger Atlanteans who DJ Sharkman. That sounds good. I'm taking it. Because sometimes prosaic names are also celebratory and amazing. But this seems to be, at least this level of the ruined ship has been reconstructed into a nightclub of some kind. Tara, have you ever been to a nightclub?
No. Maybe a school dance.
Nice. What do? You see that one of the boys, Oren, is talking with Dorothy, but there are several other of these Atlantean teens.
And it is, of course, still water, right? I mean,
Yes, it's still absolutely water.
but there is a music sound that is coming across.
It's very clear, heavily on bass, because that travels.
Makes sense. I think I'm going to probably be trying to keep as close an eye on my comrades as possible, like to not lose them. But and in typical shy person style, I've found a little corner and I'm kind of dancing on my own. But my dress is all gauzy and my hair is flowing out, and I imagine that she is enormously pretty. I mean, I imagine she looks really captivating, but
You also have
very
that
much by
glow
herself.
about you, so
Yeah.
that's cool. Tekla, what about you? You caught up to the crew, the Atlanteans, and swim with them to enter into the Valdez. What are you doing?
I'm getting an eye for things, seeing sort of what spaces are used for dancing, seeing if there are any other activities that this space is apparently built for, trying to kind of get into the groove, sort of getting an eye for everyone and where they're at in my crew. And I pause and I hang back and take a moment, go, okay, so who's having their first time in a club? Raise your hand.
Yeah, I'm curious who answers that one. Tara, do you raise your hand? That's who Dorothy does. What about Kowalski?
You could just get like a little side look, like, please.
Is it Kowalski's first time? She seems rebellious.
She would
enough
lie
to
about
snuck
it.
into some-
Voluntarily, like
Um,
just going to have fun, and other times she's been there because she's trying to stop crimes or something.
oh yeah, I mean, she's definitely had some sort of supervillain capture fight thing that has just gone through a club. You know, there were
Mhm.
some scrapes and, you know, bangs and stuff. No one died.
Yeah, well, Kowalski definitely gets yanked over next to Tekla. It's like, cool, you're deputized, you're on the veteran side.
Okay.
All
So we're
right,
looking after newbies.
we're here to have fun.
Well,
Keep
our
an eye on
mission
each
now-
other. Don't mother hen each other, because it's probably fine. Don't accept a drink from anybody you don't know. Don't leave your drinks alone for a long time. If you've got to, bring it to us. We'll keep a watch on it.
Do they have drinks?
You look around.
I'm
and you
kind
see-
of going through my standard spiel, but you've got a point. And yeah, we'll both look.
when you look around, you don't see anything that looks like a bar, but you do see there are a cluster of some folks who are squeezing something, and then it just puffs out, like ink a little bit around their faces. There are a few people that are eating these fruits that seem to be juicy enough, but no one's tipping up a cup to drink it.
Makes
I don't
sense.
know if we could enjoy their refreshments without
Same.
dying.
Well, that's what we have a hall monitor with us for, right? She can tell us.
Absolutely. Everything's fine.
We can
Um,
eat everything, huh?
No,
Okay.
nope.
Okay.
We need to talk to Oren. Oren really wants to help us out. And she waves over the coal black-eyed boy that had spoken to you, Dorothy. And he says, we are from a strain of Atlanteans who were once human, and I can tell you what we can imbibe.
Your own
Whoa.
drinks.
How did that happen that we were once humans and now are Atlanteans? Wow, if that's not insensitive or inappropriate to ask, sorry.
Oh, he looks to the others. They're all just we don't meet many of the unguild.
Oh, sorry.
We don't meet many
No.
of the guild. It's cool.
It's interesting. Our ancestors, they forsook the land, and Atlantean technology helped them to reshape their bodies.
I think
That's cool.
while this conversation is going on, Kowalski's definitely kind of moving close towards Tara to kind of separate her slightly from this conversation.
Ooh, let's shine a
Yeah.
little
Okay.
focus on that.
Suddenly there's a hand on your shoulder, Tara, and it's Quality right next to you. It's like, I got a mission. I am going to mother hen the shit out of you. We're going to find you a hookup.
What?
Yep. Correct. Choose your target. We're doing this.
And I will look around and
He's cute. She's cute. Them?
I
They
imagine
got tentacles.
I'm going. I'm probably looking for the studious, bookish type, preferably who's fit. They're swimmers, though. They all have swimmers, Bill.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
potentially. I want
It's
the one
comic
who
books.
reads and lifts, and that's all they care about.
That's it.
There, I just dropped the names in of the 5 Atlantean humans. Oddly enough, they don't really differentiate themselves as a different species. It's just Atlantean is the broad term. It seems to be a more inclusive approach rather than breaking down into race. But they did up and say, yeah, we used to be humans. So, yeah. Arya, the redhead, she notices that Kowalski's moved off to talk to Tara, and she's ends up chatting with Joaquin a little bit. And then a dolphin swims up to her, and she says something to Joaquin, and they both like hold on to the sides of the dolphin, and the dolphin just takes off like a shot, like 60 knots an hour, just and goes in a wide arc. Try to keep it on the camera, Rich. Wide arc around this interior dance area, and it looks thrilling.
She's got a dolphin friend.
Nice.
I imagine it's maybe like we have dogs.
Maybe, yeah. Oh, that would be kind of
That's
fun.
awesome.
Yeah,
Dolphins are way smarter than dogs, though.
dogs are pretty smart.
They
As
are
well.
pretty smart. Especially if you get one that's specifically supposed to be smart, the working guys.
Yeah,
You have
I
a
know.
dog back home?
Yeah, he's still back home.
Oh, what's his name?
Guess.
Tintin.
No, not quite. My mom's a huge Oz fan. His name is Toto.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to pick on you and lean on the whole association,
Thank
but
you.
that's cute. Is Toto a good boy?
Oh, Toto is the best boy. Toto is a golden retriever, and he's so smart and cute and friendly. Yeah.
That's cute. I never got to have a dog.
It's the best. Dogs are the best.
Oh, that's fun.
Well, I hope he can look after my sister now.
I'm sure he will, especially if he's such a good boy.
Yeah, they'll be fine. And dolphins are probably fun as well.
I mean, they save people from drowning. It's cool.
Oh, yeah.
Oren finally cuts into your conversations about dolphins. Like he really wants to be included in this and says, oh yes, the school here is very, very nice. They'll take you for a ride if you want. I've never seen a dog. I've heard of them.
They have 4 legs and fur. I don't know if this is too basic. I'm sorry.
They have
No, it's interesting.
They have a long snout, not as long as a dolphin's. Usually.
Wait, I can just show you. I have the data pad with me, and of course my
Yeah.
screensaver is Toto. So this is Toto.
That looks horrific.
What? No.
What is on it?
Fur.
Fur.
Oh,
Hair.
I thought it was drowning in kelp or something.
No, it's just the land animals have
Why does it have that?
to keep warm.
That is very weird.
Hmm.
How long have you been at the academy?
3 days.
Couple months.
What? Okay. Is that
We've been there for about 3 days.
okay? I'm looking at you at one. Okay.
And Tech was just like got this whole "don't worry about it" kind of thing.
Okay.
And Oren looks back and forth with you. Sure, a few days, 3 days, 3 days. Do you like it?
It is very interesting and educational.
It sucks. I want to die.
Oh, why?
It's kind of boring. It's kind of tense. I miss my dad.
You reach over and he does this like arm smoothing thing that seems like a comforting gesture, but is just a little awkward with humans. But you can tell the intent is nice enough.
I let it happen. I'm not going to be a jerk about it.
We will get to go back eventually once we've learned what we're supposed to learn. So that's fine. And I got to meet nice people.
Yeah, that's
You-
true. I get to do this. I get to ride in a cool manta.
Yes. Yes, the mantas are nice. You can go farther faster.
But you guys are just swimming on your own, which is
Hiring.
they don't look tired.
It is easier than walking. Walking. I am sorry you have to walk.
We're used to it.
Yes. And I'm used to swimming.
See?
Our bodies have evolved slowly over many generations to make us better. We are still the weakest swimmers of all Atlanteans. It's often how they mock us if they choose to, but that rarely happens.
That would be mean. I mean,
Yes, it is mean.
can you go on land? Are you amphibious? Sorry if this is
Yes.
insensitive. You have to tell me if,
No.
if I'm overstepping.
I
I'm
will
just-
tell you if you hurt my feelings.
Okay, thank you. I don't mean to.
I feel like you don't mean to.
No.
I could go on land. I've never
Oh.
been on land.
Okay.
I have surfaced. I've
Mhm.
seen the sun and felt the
Cool.
wind.
Nice. So if you ever, for whatever reason, in a couple of years, you find yourself on land and give me a call, maybe.
Oh, it's terrifying. All the space. I like the warmth. I like the feel of the water around me. I
Mm.
surfaced and it was my chest hurt for a moment before I could figure out how it is that you breathe there. But
Huh.
someday, maybe. In class, they say that we won't be able to walk very well without training. Our muscles aren't developed. Our bones are lighter
Mm.
now.
Huh.
Hmm.
Well, if training helps, then maybe you do it.
Well, the only place we could do it is in the academy.
Oh.
When they were making the academy, we would sneak in.
Oh yeah, did you see anything cool?
Lots of things that were interesting. But once they pulled out all the water, we stayed away.
Oh, so
But now you're there.
yeah.
Have you? He leans in a little bit and kind of looks around. He speaks, and you can hear that the timbre of his voice changes a little bit. It's a slightly higher pitch, but not reaching anything like a dolphin squeal, but it seems to hit the water differently. It's like an underwater whisper. And he says, have you had any problems with King Crab?
No, we haven't seen him or anything.
I've briefly looked over at Kowalski when
Is that
he
the
asked
guy?
that.
Who?
King Crab.
I think Swipe just starts laughing. Just the whole thing today in class with Dava, bought the
That.
and Oren's like, I don't think he
Stop.
would do a shush, but like he would just do this like,
Okay.
calm
No,
yourself.
we're
Don't we
not
don't
talking
speak
about.
about. We
Oh,
should-
okay.
We don't talk about King Crab.
Okay.
He's exiled,
Mhm.
and he should be exiled not only from Atlantis but from our thoughts.
Okay. Oh,
It is the harshest of all punishments to be
yeah.
forgotten.
So why are you
ignored.
asking about him?
Because I'm curious, and
Okay.
he told some people who would listen that he's going to destroy the academy.
Hmm.
But I guess it was just a boast.
Well, he doesn't get to destroy it until we're through with it.
How long will you be there?
Hopefully not too long.
Until we've mastered our powers, I guess.
I guess a year or two.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, that was not what they did not mention that.
What did they mention?
I mean, they didn't really give a time frame to me, but I'm not sticking around for 2 years.
I figured we'd finish school here. I don't really know.
Maybe we should find out.
Well, I'm sorry you're not happy here.
It's okay. I'd find a reason to be unhappy anywhere.
Let's see if
Why?
we can find a reason for you to be happy here.
Yeah, we
There
can.
we go, back on target. I kind of do a little point directly at Tara.
I like reach up and I pinch Tara's cheek in this like gentle teasing way, and I grin. I'm like, okay, let's do that.
Nice. The red-headed girl, the one who you guys have talked with haltingly, she comes over to you, Tara, and she just reaches up and runs her fingers through the bits of your hair that have floated away from your face. So she's not touching your face, but definitely getting in your personal space. Your hair is wonderful. You have a glow. How do you glow?
I it's just always sort of been with me. It's I think it's my power.
Your power is to glow? How bright can you glow?
Well, that's not really, it's more of a byproduct, I think. But I sometimes it glows brighter.
It's very nice. And
Thank you.
it is good to glow underwater.
Well, yeah, I guess it can get dark deep, can't it?
I should take you with me into the caves underneath.
Sounds kind of dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Danger is exciting.
I don't know. Danger. Bad things happen when I get in danger.
She swims a little closer. What do you mean?
I
Do you glow so bright that you blind people? Like the sun? I've seen the sun. It's very. I saw blue spots for a while.
You shouldn't stare at the sun. That's not a good idea. I don't think I should go to the cave. It was very nice of you to ask, though. Thank you very, very much.
Have I offended you? Did I say something wrong?
No, you're perfectly fine. But I've just found we've just come here, and it's so exciting and meeting all of you that I don't see any reason to leave. We should have fun here.
Do you want to ride? Kikiri will take you on a ride. She gestures her hand up, and one of the dolphins starts to swim over, doing that kind of
I want
undulation
that
through the
more than
water.
I've ever wanted anything in my entire life.
And the dolphin comes up and nose slides between her hands. She says, Kikiri is very gentle. Do you want to ride by yourself, or do you need me to come? I will ride with you. Joaquin wanted me to ride with him.
Yeah.
She reaches out and she takes your hand and she pulls it onto the dolphins, right near the blowhole, and it lets out this sound like a trilling giggle, and it looks up at you and makes that weird, kind of curious noise.
I'll kind of head its back, and as long as you keep an eye and make sure I don't go too far. Yeah, I think I can do it.
And Kikiri starts to swim forward, and she reaches out and she grabs your arm right by your elbow to pull you a little tighter to the dolphin, and both of you get pulled into the wake, as it were, and you hang on, but the dolphin doesn't seem to mind or register if you squeeze tight, and then bam, just after a little bit of, and then it just launches forward, and you feel the thrust of the water, and everything's pulling at your skin, but it's delightful. And Kikiri does a full set of rounds, a few laps around. How does Tara react when there's this complete loss of control?
I think I'm overwhelmed, excited, and loving it. And there's probably like a woo, kind of like roller coaster wooings as I'm being moved around.
Nice. Yeah. So you guys see Tara get pulled away by Arya, and Refuse. Ella or Swipe comes up and she says, "Hey, Koryak and Hansu, they know about some drinks." Yeah.
Dorothy, you got an eye on Tara, right?
Who did you ask?
Dorothy. Yeah.
I have an eye on Tara, sure. She's on the dolphin.
Yeah. Bring you back drinks.
Oh,
You know.
cool. How do you drink with a rebreather on your face?
We'll figure it out.
Oh,
Straws, I guess.
okay.
So Koryak and Hansu, they both will swim with the two of you, and there's this little dispensary where people are getting either these fruits, or there are these like weird spritzer bottles, and they hand you one of these spritzer bottles, and Hansu says, I think you will get some of it, he says. And Swipe will be like, okay. She just squirts a few times and this mist comes out and she moves her face in and you could see some of the bubbles like trickle in through the rebreather. What do you
I
do?
would say like the rebreather is like kind of almost like just a resistive force field over the mouth.
Yeah,
So like you
that's
can like
cool.
actually put the bottle through into the small area of air. So I like the idea that Ella doesn't do.
She doesn't what?
She doesn't do that because she, we've only just started wearing these rebreathers. We don't know how they
Right.
work.
No, nope. So do you wait to see what happens to Swipe, or
I think I look at that and then just like look at the bottle and just like push it against my mouth to see if, and it's like, oh, and then just drink it.
nice. And she looks at you and oh, right, right.
And then I put my thumb over the drink and hand it back to her so she can like.
She
actually...
takes it with a thumb and
yeah.
then she pushes through slowly like you, and her eyes light up when it pushes through the field, and she tips it up and drinks a little bit more and thumbs over. And the taste is oddly like licorice. So it's a little sweet, but thick.
Like tastes awful, but it's got a buzz. So got enough for the rest of us? For the rest of them?
And Hansu says, yes. And he'll get a bunch. Like he just goes through the dispensary, which it looks like some kind of automated thing. They just wipe their hand under, and then more of these things come through, and he starts getting a bunch of the little bottles. They look oddly like these weird little perfume bottle-y things. They do have a spritzer to it because these guys don't, drink per se, but you can drink it by just adjusting it very easily.
Heads up.
So you guys all swim back to the rest of the group. Jen, I think you missed that Taiki is currently with the redheaded girl on the dolphin, taking a dolphin ride.
Nice.
And Refuse and Swipe have just come back with a bunch of sea liquor.
Licorice flavor.
Okay.
Flavored. Yeah. So does anyone drink to excess, or does anyone imagine that their character would drink to excess without realizing that they are doing so?
I actually doubt that Dorothy's drinking at all, because taking off the rebreather here, no way. Oh, that is not. She's not thirsty at all. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Well, the
it's like
Atlanteans
Ella's nose bleeding.
Dorothy, it seems that Kowalski has figured out a way to like slowly move through the field of the rebreather to where you can bring something to your mouth and try to drink. And he tries a little bit of it, and he makes a face like, yeah, this is not really for me. What about Tekla when they pass you a bottle?
I try it and I enjoy the flavor. And I feel how it burns on the way down, and I'm like, it's really good. And then I tuck the rest in my pocket and like cap it back off. Because Tekla's immediate second thought is, oh man, I could cut loose and party. Fuck, I should not cut loose. I should party. Ish. Ask. Fuck.
Some mixed feelings there.
Yep. Yeah. But otherwise, she's the kayfabe is strong. She's like, oh, cool. I'll get to this later when I'm not busy.
After a couple of laps, Tara, you come back to the others and you see they're all like passing around these different bottles, and Hansu declares, no, this one tastes different. It doesn't taste like your lickish. Try this. And he's passing like this greenish bottle, trying to encourage you guys to take some drinks. And Arya will say, do you want some?
Is it I'll kind of look over to Tekla. Is it like booze?
Is it like booze? It seems like booze.
Yeah. It
I'm
is
like, yeah.
it is fermented.
No, I shouldn't. When people drink, they say things that they don't mean, and I don't want to say things I don't mean.
And the one girl of the crew who isn't the long red-haired Chiana, she has like a pixie cut, and she says, come on, you don't know us. If you say something rude, we won't even care.
Oh, it's not saying something rude.
And I'll put a hand on Taiki's shoulder and say, I like it when people have strong convictions.
Hansu laughs. You are boring. You should have fun.
Ooh, it's exciting to put a bottle to your lips and drink it. Thrills, spills, chills.
It sounds as if you're trying to shut down this light bit of peer pressuring going on.
I sure am.
All right.
I can't
Cool.
let Taiki suffer this kind of bull crap.
All right.
Can I help with the bond? Just asking.
Good. Yes.
Well,
there
I
is.
think I have to declare that before, right?
I think so. Yes.
Cool.
I think we did realize that it was beforehand.
Mhm.
Cool. So with your helping. So I still don't have this. I need to put this in the update the rules. Okay. So adjusting the target number. Whenever the bond motivates or inspires someone to act in aid of another character within that bond, they can increase or reduce the target number of their action roll by 1.
And do I have to decide before the roll? That makes hardly any sense. Or does it? I don't know.
Let's well, there's an example.
Oh.
It's on page 80 of the PDF. Sorry for just double checking.
Yeah.
Here, but, okay, hold on. Does it talk about? Let's say you could do it after. It just seems like it makes it a lot more interesting and less just fiddling with numbers before you actually do anything. Base target of 6. It sounds as if you're doing an interaction roll here. Do you wish to bring any of your power to bear?
I don't really see my power as helping me do this.
Do any of your values apply? I think I can't let others suffer feels about right here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, then that reduces the target number to 6. Held in reserve is Dorothy's bond to help out. And yes, exactly. Responding to a chat thing. So you're rolling a D10, and our target number is a 5. And
All right, homina, let's go.
Oh, where's the
Oh, it isn't
Is that
good.
a 1?
I got a 1.
There is nothing your bond is going to do to stop that. That is a fail. Oh goodness. Okay. So with a failure, that means no steps are achieved. That is such a bad failure. No one can quite help you. However, let's talk for a second, because you have values, a heroic value. Oh, did I not copy over the tooltips? I didn't. Okay. There are tooltips or little hover overs for the value points on other people. I'm copying them over so you have access to them as well, Jen. heroic value points, you can use it to reduce the result of an action roll, remove a complication without using an action roll, absorb one havoc for another super outside of your turn. That is what you can do with heroic. And then troublesome allows you to reduce the result of an action roll by 5. Well, that sucks. It's always pulling it down. There's no way you can add to it. So it doesn't look like you need the action.
There's actually, if you use the psychological thing, there is rerollable action die, but not the overpowered die.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to spend your one, I'm the one responsible, because a failure is what you're looking at. You can spend that 1 point and re-roll your action die. Would you like to do that? It's okay if you don't. I just want to make sure we're fully using these aspects of the value points. Because
I mean, I'm tempted to do it just to get that in everybody's mind, you know?
Do it.
So let's do it just to be educational. It's for educational purposes. What we're going to learn is that you shouldn't do it.
I don't know.
That's a 4.
Oh,
Hey, the
wow.
difficulty is a 5, so it's still a fail. If only a bond were
I
used.
would maybe spend my bond by coming to Tekla's aid and just pushing my way physically into the middle of this and saying, hey, it's Tara's choice, right? You don't think that we should browse, we should kind of pressure her into this, right? That's not the kind of person you are.
Nice. And that will push Tekla's result from a 4 to a 5, which is exactly the target number. And Hansu doesn't, like, there's a moment where Hansu doesn't seem to get what's going on here, but then Arya and Oren and Chiana all turn on him and they kind of push him out of, they physically push him away. They said, you're a bad host. You're a terrible host, Hansu. Why are you acting this way? And Hansu gets sulky for a moment and then he'll swim away. Like he's been kicked out of their little circle. And Arya comes over. Tara, I'm so sorry. Hansu is stupid. He's toxic. He's terrible. We will not be friends with him.
That doesn't seem right. You mean you were friends with him before?
Yes. But we are your host. And he tried to make you do something you didn't want to do. He's toxic.
He was just overzealous and it's all right. I mean, you know, it's not a big deal.
He should still go away for now. Hansu has to learn.
Okay. That seems fair.
Are you all right? Do you want to
I'm
leave
fine.
now?
Well, we did want to see the city. Are you I don't suppose you'd like to come and show us around Atlantic City?
It might be easier if we take your manta. If it
Of
has room
course.
for everyone.
That would be awesome. That'd be good, wouldn't it, Tekla? Yeah.
Cool. So looking at time, there's one step completed in this scene out of 2.
We just succeeded, right? And didn't Kowalski succeed at something, or did
you're
we succeed
right.
at the
That would be
landing,
the second
manta
one.
thingy?
Yes, that's our
What
second
did I
step.
do?
Was the
Excellent.
second
I forgot.
Cool.
Yeah, it was a while ago, but
It was a while
Still-
ago. I knew.
it's
Yeah,
still the same
yeah.
scene. So
It
it's-
is still the same scene. These are long scenes because of the steps and because of the way I'm framing them. I think they're becoming long. Is there anything more you guys want out of exploring Atlantis. This particular scene. Okay. Cool. Then I still have one scene point left at the end of our session. We have 2 scene points for Kowalski, 1 scene point for Dorothy, 1 scene point for Tara, and 0 scene points for Tekla. So we're really close to the end of this act. We'll just get a few quick scenes. Maybe we even make a combined scene. We're going to talk about that in wishes, what kinds of scenes we're interested in or what we'd like to see in our next.
I have a rules question. Do I erase the bond now that I've used it, or is that a thing? Is that a thing that stays? I have no idea.
No, that's a great question. And I am, no, you don't erase it.
Okay.
But
Cool.
I think that it just has a certain, like there's a limit on uses.
I also, I'm muted just as I was going to say the question. I also have a rule question. It's
Yes.
Every player who spends at least 1 scene point on a spotlight scene can create or improve a backstory modifier. See page
Yes.
65. I'm wondering if that's an extra scene point on top of the scene cost, or if
It
that's,
is. It's a scene point after the scene's complete. You can say, I'm going to
what it
spend.
means.
Yeah.
Game
you
can
spend a scene point.
definitely make you spend seed points.
Mm.
I'm seeing as I read through things.
Yeah. But if we spend scene points to increase some of your stats, that's what Act 1 is supposed to be about. Get to know the NPCs, get to know the school, build up some of your bases, and then things start to progress into the next act. So I fully encourage folks to do a little scene point to boost some things. You can't develop a bond further than the standard, but if you wanted to declare a bond with anyone from this past scene and spend a scene point to make it a mechanical thing, please do.
Can the backstory modifier thing?
Yes.
What does that bring to a modification of roles? Or
within the set the target number, you use backstory modifiers to increase or decrease the target number.
Okay. Cool.
Any more questions before we? So there are no end of session mechanics, which means that we'll move straight to stars and wishes. We start with wishes so we can end with stars. Who'd like to kick it off for wishes?
I would like some like 2-player character scenes. Play the mix and match of different character dynamics, so we can explore some relationships a little bit.
Yeah, and even though we have a scene purchase mechanic, it doesn't mean we can't have like an A scene, B scene going on. We pair people up and we have 2 simultaneous scenes that we're cutting back and forth from. I think that's the thing I'd like to explore. I was a little hesitant until I got my balance with this a little bit more, but I think we're to the point where I feel comfy doing it.
Interaction scenes are also free, is something we should keep in mind. So if it's just, listen, if I just want to have a scene where one character talks to another character,
you just do it.
You just do it. It's not going to have any mechanical development outcomes, but it does fictional things that you want to happen.
100%.
Right? So.
Any other wishes, Alex?
No, I think I'm liking what we've been doing. So
cool. Who'd like to go next with wishes?
I think I would wish well, I don't really need to wish that. I can just spend my seed points for it. So I'm probably going to do a confront scene with Ella.
Yes. Love it. Very happy to hear that's coming.
Nice.
And yeah, otherwise, yeah, well, I wish for more or at least as much pet content the next session, please.
I'll try and
I-
bring a cat in as well.
Oh my goodness. He's been lonely. Is definitely the read that I'm getting. Oh my god, he's half asleep in my lap already.
Oh,
Oh.
any other wishes, Sabine? Cool. Jen or Tyler, wishes?
I'm pretty happy with how things are going. I do look forward to seeing Atlantis City, and you know, I'm also looking forward to seeing the fallout from what we've done. As I'm sure that this is not just going to be, oh, how good y'all got a chance to see the city. That's lovely.
Probably not.
Probably not. Jen, you have any wishes to add?
I wish for the cats to be significantly more integrated by next game.
Can't
So
help you
that-
grant that one, but okay.
Yeah, because I'm definitely like looking over my shoulder, being like, is that sound the kitten or is it the neighborhood kids? Do I need to make sure that the cats aren't fighting, or do I need to just hang out?
Any Pandora total destruction wishes?
Good refocus. I mean, it seems like we're barreling into a combat scene, so I really want to see how that works, and see how we work together in combat by whatever value of work together is available to us. And yeah, I'm interested to see how the consequences of sneaking out like this play out. I'm interested in if we ever see these Atlantean kids again, and what else was it? I think that runs me out. I think
Okay.
that's evaporated.
All right. You were last to go with wishes, so you get to go first with stars.
Let's see. I mean, stars for Dorothy's secret prickliness. Very, very Midwestern nice. It's amusing to see. Stars for Atlantean teens. Rich, thank you for bringing some Atlantean teens that we can interact with and be like, what is this youth culture? Whoa.
Thank you.
And yeah, I think I'm gonna close that off and let other people get good wishes. So, I mean, stars, you know what I mean?
I do. Cool. Then Tyler, you are up next with any stars?
I thought it was a lot of fun. It was cool seeing people out, seeing these Atlanteans. I think it was fun to see us all, how we reacted to kind of a blowing off steam sort of scene. And I thought it was cool to see the us, you know, some being fooled, some willingly going on this excursion full knowledge, and how that we're still setting up what the dynamics are like for us. And I think that's kind of cool to see how each of us are reacting, where the innocence is, where it isn't, and that's kind of cool. So good play out, everybody, in a nice setup.
Excellent.
Oh, I will say though, here, one big star, I will say, Alex, I really liked your reaction in the classroom. Thought that was a real deep dive into the character.
That was cool. Sabine, you're up next. You're up next.
Yeah, I wanted to start that too, that classroom escalation of the whole bloody advent team was so great. And I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed all of it. I enjoyed Tara swimming with the dolphins, and then that moment of pure joy for her. I really loved seeing that, because I feel that Tara is not a very joyful character generally. And also Tekla's No, I hate it. I really like that dive into that character.
Yep. And how quickly she wants to get away from fuck. I said the true thing, fuck.
Yeah, I love that. And yeah, and I like Atlantis. It seems like I like the second ship. That was nice. So
I'm glad you liked it. Alex, bring us home. Any stars?
Yes, the group's escalation of doing dumb teenage shit. I enjoy that. I really liked. I mean, Jen, I think Jen mentioned it, but that kind of, I don't know, Dorothy's undercurrent. That kind of, I don't know, aggression maybe is the right, I don't know what the right word was, but yeah, that undercurrent beneath the surface on Dorothy. The obnoxiousness of that peer pressure that felt like, oh, this scene is getting close to a actual fist fight before it went another way. And I really liked Tara. Tara's like the sweet character that we need to protect. but she also, didn't seem weak as well.
It's not necessarily that we need to protect her, it's that we want to very badly.
Yeah.
Right.
That might be
right, exactly. Yes, I agree with you there.
I think we need to protect her emotionally in some ways. I feel that is a character who needs all the good emotions she can get, and we can give to her.
That scene in having Hansu be pushy, I actually double checked the lines and veils first, because I was like, okay, all right, just want to make sure that this is not gonna tread. And I appreciate everyone being open to it. And I also liked the roll around of, oh, well, the Atlantean teens they go hard. you mess up, they go hard. And like, no, we can pull it back from that. You don't have to exile him forever. That maybe is a little much. And I hope that it felt like perhaps, a hint towards some of their culture.
It did.
Yeah.
Good.
It kind of did feel a follow on to that banished from our thoughts and with the king crab thing. Yeah.
Good.
Oh, that king crab thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Thank you for drawing that together. I'm sorry, I'm forcing it to the fore rather than being subtle. I'm bad at subtle. I really enjoy everyone's portrayals of their characters. Sabine, I think everyone's already, or several people mentioned a star about the Minnesota Knights, but I want to just call out that strong player technique of you making sure that you communicated, here is Dorothy's outward reaction. And by the way, GM, since you've got an NPC who can read emotions, thoughts, kind of stuff, here's what's really going on. I appreciate that. That is a great bit of signposting that is super helpful. And it was fun. And I definitely had to answer it. I'm like, oh, well, boy, that just sounds loud and clear. I really know that's going to be fun. So thank you for that. I like this. It's interesting as I get to know more and more about the mechanics of this game, the more comfortable I'm starting to become. It's a lot less scary, like less intimidating. I don't know. It's all right. I'm digging it so far. I appreciate you guys coming along for the ride and helping me figure out, asking a lot of great questions to make sure that I don't fumble too hard. So this is good. I'm looking forward to continuing next week. So thank you all so much for playing some more Pandora Total Destruction. With that, we'll bring the recording to a close.